The Freedom Convoy is absolutely humiliating Trudeau and Bumblin Biden. In this video, we're going to look at the latest coming out of Ottawa. We're going to see how both Trudeau and Bumblin Biden have been caught completely unprepared for the power of this convoy. And stick with me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal why anyone who thinks that this protest is going to end anytime soon is in for a very rude awakening. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote, helping to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And gang, as you know, we have declared here on this channel this month, the month of February, to be Rhino Hunting Month. We're determined to get rid of every single Republican in name only that claim to be patriots, but then who always turn around and betray us by voting for the status quo. Well, it's time to suit up for the hunt. In addition to our ReporterRhino.com website, our amazing patriotic designers made special Turley Talks t-shirts just for Rhino Hunting Month for you to show your support. They are so awesome. So make sure to click on that link below or go to store.turleytalks.com. That's store.turleytalks.com for all the Patriot gear you need for Rhino Hunting Month. You're going to absolutely love it, and you're going to be supporting this channel at the very same time as well. So click on that link below, and happy shopping, gang. All right, gang, so let's dive right in here. The Freedom Convoy continues to baffle our political elite. Now, this is one of the most amazing things I think we have ever witnessed together. The latest development is that truckers have effectively shut down a third border crossing into the United States. Emerson Crossing between Manitoba and North Dakota has been effectively shut down by the truckers, along with Coots Crossing in Alberta and the all-important Ambassador Bridge that links up to Detroit. In fact, just to show everyone who has the power here, truckers put up an electronic sign that flashes the message, "Border crossing closed until mandates are lifted." How do you like that? These border lockdowns are forcing car manufacturers to temporarily close down for lack of parts and inventory here in the States. And so it's clear that the truckers know what they're doing, and they are indeed effectively shutting down parts of the economy on both sides of the border. It's an astonishingly effective protest, and one that has clearly taken our political elite by surprise. The Trudeau administration has been absolutely humiliated as a result and is now taking more and more draconian measures to try to end this. As I'm sure you all heard, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which should be renamed Pravda, they're reporting that an Ontario court has frozen millions and millions of dollars of funds raised for the Freedom Convoy on the conservative Christian crowdfunding platform Give, Send, Go. This is all part of an increasingly humiliated government's attempt at ending the protests. And of course, this worked with the Silicon Valley puppets GoFundMe. But as our political elites are quickly finding out, it don't work with conservative Christian patriots. Give, Send, Go is telling the Ontario court to shove it. Here is their response. Know this: Canada has absolutely zero jurisdiction over how we manage our funds here at Give, Send, Go. All funds for every campaign on Give, Send, Go flow directly to the recipients of those campaigns, not least of which is the Freedom Convoy campaign. And so right now as we speak, according to Give, Send, Go, they're reporting that the funds are indeed reaching their intended destination. So God bless Give, Send, Go. For his part, Let's Go Brandon is reportedly urging woke joke Trudeau to crush the rebellion. Brandon knows that the Freedom Convoy is working. It is very effective. It's caught our globalist elites totally off guard. And now it's beginning to spread around the world, as we're seeing particularly in France, where truckers are on their way to shut down Paris as we speak. And so Let's Go Brandon is reportedly urging Trudeau to crush this convoy immediately and use all measures necessary, no matter how draconian. Again, the discrepancy is beyond astonishing in terms of how our permanent political class are reacting to the Freedom Convoy and how they reacted to race riots that caused an estimated $2 billion, yes, that's billion with a B, $2 billion worth of damage in cities throughout our nation. Here's a perfect example of that banal hypocrisy. The so-called journalist Josh Barrow, who writes for Business Insider, had these thoughts on the NFL protests a couple of years back. The protests were a statement that the country has failed to live up to the ideals that are supposed to be embodied in the anthem and the flag, but people keep talking past that formulation. Well, that's so fascinating because, well, that sounds precisely like what the Freedom Convoy protesters are saying. My rights, my freedoms that are embodied in our flag and in our institutions are being trampled upon. So obviously the so-called journalist can empathize with the Freedom Convoy, can he? Well, think again. Here's the same so-called journalist writing today about the Freedom Convoy. Well, this is why the police are armed. If it's an insurrection, you send in the military. I'm unimpressed by the claim that a G7 country is cowed by a few hundred truckers and assorted associated protesters and lacks the state capacity to remove them from a street or highway. I'm unimpressed. I'm unimpressed by the notion that a G7 country is cowed by just a few hundred dirty, uneducated, knuckle-dragging truckers. Barbarians. So you can see our political and cultural elites are not ones for consistency. But actually, it's not hard. BLM is good because BLM wants to destroy our customs, cultures, and traditions and remake them according to their own far-left cultural Marxist image. Globalist elites like George Soros and the editorial team at the New York Times, they love that idea. However, these Canadian truckers, these barbarians, these savages, well, they love their culture, customs, and traditions, and they want to rescue them from a permanent political class that governs according to their own values, interests, and concerns that are detrimental to the health and well-being of their nation. And globalists despise populist sentiments like that. You see, that's the difference. One protest movement wants to destroy traditional society, and the other one wants to defend it. And you can clearly see which side MSNBC illiterates are on. Unfortunately for our political elite, as it turns out, those dirty, knuckle-dragging, freedom-loving truck drivers, they're far more important to a nation's economy and culture than a bunch of self-righteous, virtue-signaling, college-indoctrinated pundits. Fortunately, there are a few from this cosmopolitan class that do get it, that see what's really going on here. Former New York Times reporter Barry Weiss has been getting red-pilled of late, and she has a fascinating article out entitled, What the Truckers Want. And the byline reads, I've spoken to 100 of the protesters gathered in the Canadian capital. What's happening is far bigger than the vaccine mandates. That, I think, we can all agree upon. I think woke joke Trudeau and Let's Go Brandon actually recognize that. But Barry Weiss gets it. I think she really gets it here. She recognizes that these protests are being fueled by a thoroughly justifiable sense among a substantial portion of the Canadian population that their concerns, their interests, their cares, their values have been at best totally and completely ignored and dismissed by their permanent political class, or at worst, those concerns and cares have been vilified and disparaged and denigrated and demonized. And they feel that way because that's precisely what woke politics does. As the University of London scholar Eric Kaufman wrote about recently, woke politics do not allow for any dissent. Woke politics operate with an identity politics consisting of absolutist, totalizing categories against which any dissent is immediately labeled as racist, sexist, and all kinds of phobic. There's no discussion. There's no deliberation allowed. Woke politics, by definition, sees the world in a non-negotiable binary. Either you're woke in that you're aware of the social, political, and economic inequities inherent in our institutions, or you're in darkness. You support those inequities by your ignorant compliance, right? Silence is compliance. So for tens of millions of conservatives and white working class voters, the trifecta of woke politics, the government, the media, and big business, have all ganged up to, in effect, excommunicate them from society. And they've had it. This is our nation. This is our country. We have every right to be heard as anyone else. We have every right to have our concerns, our cares, our values, and our interests addressed and respected in the public square as anyone else in our nation. And we are not going to sit idly by and allow the discriminatory bigotries of woke politicians and media elites dictate to us what we can and cannot do without our concerns being taken into democratic account. This Freedom Convoy is a giant up yours to the woke elite. If those elites think they stealing their fuel and stopping their monies are going to stop them and anytime soon, they're in for one rude awakening. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on a humiliated Justin Trudeau walking out of Parliament. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.